Welcome to the Just Right Snowboard channel. I'm Lars Horstman, and over the last few weeks or months, some of you have reached out to me asking for riding tips, coaching of sorts, or video analysis. And I picked that up quite happily because it's super fun for me to do. And so far the people that have participated in this have taken some benefits from it, so it's all awesome. And today I'm basically creating this opportunity to show the rest of you how this may look. And for that I'm taking a toe turn. You know this turn from the outro of my channel. It's a slow-mo toe turn, pretty low, with a corduroy spray following it. And I'm just going to talk through it. I'm not going to go in depth there, but I'm just going to talk through what happens at the edge change and what the body does throughout the turn and how to actually get low and, all the little things. And I have a cool guest appearance here. I asked the man himself to use a screenshot of him because he is executing this perfectly while I am still practicing. And he allowed me to use the screenshot, so that's awesome. You've all seen the clip that I took that out of on some other channel here on YouTube. I'm not going to tell you where and who it is because you will have to stay on here for the next few minutes to find out. So here we go, coming out of my heel turn. Cool thing to see here is which mass actually moves me onto my toe edge. So I'm my right shoulder, so for the lookers it's the left shoulder, but my right shoulder is moving across the board. I'm hinged forward from the hip, and basically I'm pushing against the momentum that I have down the hill. So I'm pushing against my edge basically with a little bit of leg extension and then my upper body coming forward. And that basically brings my weight across the board. So now I'm flat base here, and basically if you could see that, unfortunately we can't. There should be a tiny bit of torsional twist visible because I'm pushing on my left toes, like my front foot toes. And that would torsionally twist the board a little bit to change direction, to get the nose, the contact point, to dig in and start that new trench for my toe turn. So from here onwards, I want to get my board really high on edge really early in the turn. And at this point, that is all knees. This is very important. The turn starts at the bottom. I'm not just throwing my upper body into the turn. That will only lead to me folding too much at the hip, losing balance, and putting my back hand down, which is what we see a lot these days when people say, hey, I'm carving, I'm Euro carving, because I'm dragging my hand. This is not necessarily true. Just because you reach the snow with one hand, that you are properly nicely carving. Anyhow, so what you see from here onwards is kind of important. So the knees are bent. I'm coming a little forward from the hip. I'm moving my chest somewhat over my front knee. And cool thing here to see, I'm basically going to slow-mo through this little sequence, is at which point actually the hip becomes very important, and also what my shoulders are doing. So at this point you can already see I'm trying to keep my hands level to the snow. My left hand, so for the lookers, the right hand, but the left hand at the outside of the turn is basically trying to come down a bit, right? And I'm trying to lift my right shoulder, the inside shoulder. I'm trying to lift that up. And here we are still pretty much all knees. And then here, you can see, when you look at the mouse arrow, when you look at my hip joint, my pelvis, through the next few, there's the extension, right there. So basically through these next few frames, from here to here, there's an extension going on here in the hip joint, right? And that is me trying to push my right hip into the turn by pinching my left hip. And you can't see that because I'm wearing a jacket and stuff, but yeah, that's what I'm doing. That lifts this shoulder and drops this shoulder. Now I'm pretty stiff in my hips, and I'm probably gonna overlay an image here from someone else that you all know, who is seemingly not so stiff in the hips. Mark Fawcett is the man. Love that image. It's in the trailer of the Tribute Lounge where he's laying out a massive toe turn, and it's epic. So here I could come down more with my outside hand, with what is my left hand. This hand should be more somewhere down here. And that would mean for me to bend more here, right? Like pinch that hip a bit more, come more forward. I struggle with that because I'm pretty stiff in the hips. Any yoga trainer here that wants to help Lars? So here we go. Hips coming down, slight extension here, and my inside arm, my right arm is touching the snow, but you can see pretty obviously here, it's not touching the snow because I'm reaching for it. It's simply touching because the slope gets in the way. And that is the goal. You don't want to hunch forward from the hip and touch the snow and be like, yay, I'm Euro carving. My knees are touching the snow. This is, you know, this is kind of as low as you can go. I could come further down with my upper body. You can see here in the next couple clicks, it's pretty low, like considering that my belly is basically the same height as my snowboard. That's pretty laid out. Fun fact here, the center of my board is actually not properly connected to the snow anymore. Should probably narrow my stance a bit to push into that center a bit more. Anyways, I didn't wipe out. I stood up out of this turn. Yeah, so I figured this would be a cool little thing. This is so epic, the big cloud. Cool little thing to watch here. It's kind of neat that slow-mos and shots this close really reveal so many little things. I personally really like how you can see from here through the next frames how the turn really starts in the knees and ankles. And then we get the hip. That's super important to try to build your turns from the bottom up. I'm not quite sure how that works when you're on an alpine race board, because I don't really hard boot. I do that like 3 times a season just for shits and giggles on an old Coiler race board that I actually found in the dump. Or somebody else found it for me, I should say. And it was mint, and I fixed it all up with a nice base grind and did the edges, and the thing rides like a dream. Probably 23 years old. So I'm not an expert in alpine carving technique. I'm just kind of picking bits and pieces of the things that I do know about it. And the part that I don't know is whether you also start your turn in the ankles and knees in those crazy positive angles. But I am on this board in this video 30 in the front, 9, positive 9 on the back. And in this stance, you clearly do still bring pressure across the board, through the soles of your feet, through the knees, but clearly then followed by the hip. This hip extension is super important. Yeah, and as I said before, I need to work on hip flexibility. But yeah, if you send me stuff, I've done a few of those over the last weeks. People were pretty happy with my little tips and analysis. Most everybody makes the same mistakes, I have to find. And yeah, I think it's just a lack of knowledge out there in ski schools or snowboard schools in regards to positive binding setups. Everybody is stuck with not enough rotation of the hip or pelvis or chest, and they're squatting into their heel turns. Yeah, that just doesn't help. A couple pointers on your own videos are always better than just watching someone else, and then keep filming and keep getting feedback, and that is really the key to success. All right, that's it for toe turns here. Obviously, the more difficult one is the heel turn, and that's where the big questions come into play. Please feel free to reach out. It's lars.justapadride@gmail.com, or send me a comment here or whatever. We can chat and see where the journey goes. Thank you so much for watching this. Take care, everybody. Keep on riding and have fun out there as long as this winter lasts. Bye-bye.